Apollo, I need you to knock it off, please. Apollo, can you please stop it? Can you please stop it, please? I need you to knock it off, all right? Yep, I need you to knock it off. Yeah, I need you to knock it off. I'm doing something here, and I need you to behave, please. Hey guys, it's Kimberly, and so I have you guys doing, you see the computer over there, and I'm sure they see the phone, so I'm doing dual lives, YouTube and Facebook. And as soon as I get enough people, I'm gonna get started. But right now, I'm just getting everyone's dishes ready so I can start spooning up meals. There's something about the spring ahead that's thrown me off, and so I'm feeding all of my dogs an hour late, and I've never been that impacted by the spring ahead. It's cracking me up. So for those of you guys who don't know, my name is Kimberly. There's my face. You guys can't see me there. There's my face. And I feed raw. And so I write the blog, Keep the Tail Wagging, and I have a pen in my pocket. And I am getting lots of questions about coronavirus. So I wrote a blog post about coronavirus. I've shared a couple things on Facebook, but I figure I'll do a dual live and just share what I am doing, because I live, in Marysville, Washington, which is about 45 minutes north of Seattle, and then I work in downtown Seattle. And my day job is for for a company that manages assisted living communities. So we have had our first death, sadly, and we have had another resident test positive for coronavirus. So we've had employees test positive for coronavirus. I work in the corporate office, so I'm not exposed to the communities, but that does not mean that I'm not exposed to coronavirus, because I think as more information gets out there, we're starting to learn that, none of us are truly 100% safe unless we just don't leave our house. So that kind of sucks. And as I'm home watching the news now, our governor has closed down schools. They're closing down events. So Comic-Con was supposed to start today here in the Emerald City. It has been postponed till summer. I see that they have stopped spring training. There's just all these things that are going on because everyone is taking this seriously. I totally get it. And I actually totally understand the people who think that we're blowing this out of proportion. That being said, I'm not here to talk to you guys about the conspiracy theories surrounding coronavirus. I'm here to just tell you what I'm doing for my dogs. So in the case that I am quarantined and I have to stay at home, and as it stands, I'm working from home now, and I am limiting the amount of time I go out and about. I wanted to make sure that I was stocked up. So we have 2 freezers full of food for the dogs. We're completely stocked up. Luckily, I have a habit of always keeping my freezer stocked up. What I did this past week was basically walked around the house and looked at anything that we're running low on and went and stocked us up on it. I didn't buy 2 grocery carts full of toilet paper. I don't really understand what that's about, but not my business. But I did get a ton of eggs from friends who have chickens, and I have a ton of chicken feet from Answers. I have 2 cases of fermented fish stock from Answers. These are the things that I give to my dogs regularly, so I wanted to make sure that I have it in the house just in case so the supply chain slows down and we're not able to get it as quickly as we normally do. So with regard to supplements, I'm grateful that I made a habit of reducing the amount of supplements that I give to my dogs, because I don't have to really worry about supplements. All I have to do is worry about food. So my thought was that if I do contract coronavirus, and based on what people are saying about how people feel when they get sick, I'm not going to be in the mood to do meal prep. So what I'm doing each weekend is I'm doing double the meal prep. So I'm going to go through my freezers and take out as much food as possible and start thawing it out and making meals, and then throwing it back in the fridge or the freezer. And I'm hoping I won't be able to do it with all of my food, but I'll be able to do it with most of my food. And then I'm just being careful about how I spend my money, because you don't know if we're going to have like an emergency, and I don't want to blow all my money on something stupid that I don't need. I'd rather save it for what I do need. So that is pretty much it. It's not really that big of an issue with me. I think the only thing that I am concerned about, I've seen others be concerned about this, is what if the supply chains completely fall and we're not able to get to raw and we run out? What if this lasts longer than what, people are hoping that it'll do? People are hoping that this will be behind us in a couple of months. What if it's through the summer? Well, if that's the case, hopefully I still can buy things through the local raw food co-op. But if worse comes to worse and I have to switch back to kibble, the question is, oh crap, what kibble do I buy? I've spent the past 7 years talking about how bad kibble is. And now all of a sudden I'm looking to kibble to figure out what I could possibly feed dogs in an emergency, all on the heels of the DCM issues that we were learning about last year. So for me, I don't know. Like, I don't have an idea of what kibble is the best kibble for raw fed. I don't know. But what I am going to do is go to my local pet store and ask them what they recommend. And if this is something that concerns you, I suggest you do that sooner rather than later, only because we here locally have a lot of businesses that are just closing, not shutting down, but they're closing because they're not getting customers and they can't afford to stay open, every day and not have customers to serve. So I'm going to go to the pet store tomorrow and talk to them about what they would recommend and give that some thought. I don't think I'm going to buy a ginormous bag, but it's just going to be something at the back of my mind in case it's something that we need later down the line. But for the most part, I'm just not going to stress myself out about all of this. I respect that this is serious. I respect that we have a population of people that are more, at risk than most of us. But for me, I don't think it helps me or my dogs for me to freak out about coronavirus. I think it's just a matter of making sure I have everything that I need to feed my dogs on hand. At this time, I'm just doing my best. If I run out of things, I'll try and get it back. That's pretty much all I have. So when it comes to coronavirus, I know that there's a lot of stuff on Facebook. Today was eye-opening because there were someone shared a conspiracy theory that this is all part of the government. Other people say that, this is very serious. It's only going to get worse. People are sharing videos by various experts. So it's overwhelming. And one thing that a pet store owner on Facebook suggested was that we stop sharing it. Just stop sharing the different theories. I know that for some people, this is how they learn. But for me, I decided that I'm no longer going to share anything about coronavirus, whether it be on my personal social media or on YouTube or on my blog. I'm not going to write about coronavirus anymore, only because I feel like without having all the information out there, we're just perpetuating a lot of our own anxiety. And I know that if I'm anxious, if I'm stressed out, then I'm not healthy and it's not good for my immune system. So what's the point of it? And there's nothing I can do about it anyway, to be perfectly honest, except for what I'm already doing, which is keep my hands clean, stop touching my face, and stay away from other people. So I just wanted to put that out there really quickly while I'm putting out a meal. So now let's talk about what I'm feeding my dogs. This week I made turkey for the dogs. And Rodrigo has a turkey intolerance, or has an intolerance to turkey, however you want to put it. So he is getting quail. I often feed different foods to Rodrigo than the other dogs, because if I took turkey off the menu or beef off the menu, it would make my raw food budget a lot more expensive than it needs to be. The supplements I'm giving my dogs are basically hardly anything. So this is BioCase Plus. This is the pancreatic enzyme supplement that I give to Rodrigo, who has exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, and it's a condition where his pancreas doesn't work anymore and he basically will starve to death if he doesn't get this supplement. I then add to everyone's meals, depending upon the sex, glandular support, male, female. And this is what they get because I actually don't add enough glandular foods to their diet. So that is going to take care of that. They also got pasture aids from a local farm, raw eggs. And the puppy is going to get Canapet. These are capsules that are CBD. And this is for his separation anxiety. He gets those twice a day, and it really just helps to mellow him out a little bit. And then finally, all my dogs are getting the mushroom complex. And I started adding this a while ago, like, maybe a few months ago to my dogs' meals. And I really just became focused on, yes, this has to be part of their meals after we recently had a cancer scare with Sydney. She's fine. She has a fatty tumor, but it scared the bejeebus out of me because it's her biggest fatty tumor that we've had so far. And finally, my dogs need joint supplements, and I forgot to give them to them this morning before I left. So I just add the joint supplements to their meals. And Scout and Zoe get the Consequin DS. And this is something that I just pick up at Costco. Whenever it goes on sale, I pick up like 4 to 6 bottles of it. I have tons of it. And then Rodrigo and Sydney, who are senior dogs, they get WinPro Mobility. And the reason why I love WinPro Mobility is because, within a couple of days, I saw a huge difference in Sydney when I first started using it, and it continued to improve and make her mobility a lot easier. And finally, this isn't a supplement, but it's just like a meal topper, and it's a detox shaper from Dr. Becker's Bites. And I just sprinkle it on top of my dog's food. And I mostly do this for fun. And my dogs are nice and healthy, but I bought a bunch of these on a sale. And so I'm using them because I have them. So that is it. You see, I have a bowl of eggshells. I don't put eggshells in my dog's meals. What I do is, since these come from the farm and they were just rinsed with water, all I do is collect a bunch of them, grind them up, and then put them in the freezer. Since we still have a growing puppy, he gets the additional calcium in his meals. I also use it if for some reason I'm not adding any calcium to a meal. So that is it. If you guys have any questions for me, you are more than welcome to ask them in the comments, and I will respond to them when I get to my computer and finish feeding the dogs. But I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen. But back to coronavirus, please try not to let it get to you. And I know this is going to sound really high horsey of me, but I'm trying to think of the people who aren't as lucky as me. Like, I'm lucky because I can work from home. So I'm not going to see a break in my money or in my income or anything like that. But there are a lot of people right now that are freaking out because their job just closed and they don't have another income, or the schools are closed and they need to find a way for their kids to find, to find childcare for their kids. A coworker of me reminded me that a lot of kids out there, their best meals are the meals that they get at school. And now they're not going to get those meals because the schools are closed down. So there are a million people, I don't know if there are a million, but there are a lot of people out there that have it worse off than many of us do. And so I'm trying to keep that in mind. I know that people like to laugh at the coronavirus and share these funny memes, and I get it. I've shared a few myself, but now I'm kind of decided that I'm not going to speak on this after this video, only because, man, shit's got real, you guys. And for those of you guys who are super sensitive to swear words, sorry that I said the S word. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye. So it's so awkward when I have to turn this off because I always forget.